This just to start off, this reminds me when I was at Shutterstock, our team used to go out for tequila shots in the Empire State Building. That's where the office was, and we'd have introductions and break each other in. And when I first started, they were like, "So what can you do? What can you talk about?" I'm like, "Give me a topic." So they gave me they literally pulled the topic out of a hat, pelicans, and so I gave a 5-minute lecture on pelicans that I pulled out of a hat with 3 shots of tequila in me. This is normal. This is how you network. This is how you meet people. So just to talk quickly about, let's say you have a client or yourselves. Honestly, this is probably more valuable for any of you. If you're just looking like low budget, you want to build some kind of online space for yourself. I'll just give you a little bit about myself. I've worked at a few different spaces around web, starting really at Shutterstock with content distribution and partnerships with web development platforms using content, and then moving on to this marketing agency I work for now, Doctors Internet, that primarily works for healthcare practices, but we also do general web design and SEO, local reviews, all of that. What really matters to Google, primarily when you get started, is you want to have a central focal point for your information. It's really important when you don't have a whole team, when you're not hiring an agency to do a lot of the marketing for you, you want to be able to quickly and easily manage your own centralized information. So that can easily be done by just building your own website. You can do it on a bunch of different platforms. You can build a Google site, you can build a Squarespace site, a Wix site. I've worked, we had a special partnership with Wix.com. So I worked primarily with Wix websites. And so that's my familiarity. And I've learned you can do like a crazy amount of things with them. The most you really need to pay is like $30 a month. And you can have an e-commerce website that does bookings, that does blogs, that has great SEO tools, that manages so much for you in the back end, has high security, and you can revert changes. So it's like a Microsoft document that's on the cloud. If you mess up, you can always go back. You can go back to a certain date. You can publish in a million different ways. Like you can publish a test site that only certain people can see. You can manage on mobile. You can make it some way progressive and responsive so it looks great on mobile. It takes a lot of time to learn this stuff. So it's not about coding. It's not about any of that. It's just like, you can't just give PowerPoint to a 12-year-old and expect them to understand how to work it. It's something that you got to learn, even though it doesn't take hard skills. So if you want to build something yourself, you can use a template. It's very easy. I'll actually show you something that I built myself. And again, this can be done for yourselves as marketers, consultants, anything. It's just a great way to easily have a beautiful, fresh looking website. So let me just share my screen here. Go share. And everyone can see my screen, right? You're all on mute, so I'm just assuming you can.
Yeah, beautifully designed and effectively managed.
So this is just a branding site I built for my own brand. Sometimes I speak with clients and it's not about healthcare marketing. They want to connect with someone I know on TRN. And so I want my own website, my own brand, where I can just discuss with a client. I do general online or digital web marketing, general business consulting, and most of this is just passing on to other people. But I have a general understanding of all these different topics. What you see here, and any of you can check it out at consultwithari.com. So let me just put it in the chat so you can see it simultaneously. This is primarily a template that I got through Wix. So I don't buy a template. I just pay to subscribe to use Wix. It's a SaaS product. So I pay $30 a month or something. My business is paying for this so that I can have a place to actually blog and connect more and network more. But it's just, you pay that one fee and then you have access to their templates, and you can use a template, change it, edit it, copy it. And so I edited all these different things, and you can add different cool parts to it. So I customized certain, like consult with Ari. This button just goes straight down to an embedded plug, a widget that I added in that's a Calendly link. So you can go on Calendly, you can book a meeting with me. This is super easy to install. It's not even installing. It's just like copy and paste from Calendly to my website. And it makes a super easy way for someone to book something with me on literally a one-page website. And then there are other ways that I talk about things on my website. There's a work with us link that goes back down to that Calendly because I just want people to book a meeting with me. There's a partner with us for anybody like on TRN or other networks where I talk about how I have a 10% commission to any of my payments. And then I, again, do like a Calendly link to just book people. I have a blog. This is all super, super easy to add in. It's like you have a button on Wix's platform that says, do you want to add a blog? And I say yes, and it adds a blog. And then, do you want to customize it with this color scheme? Yes. Boom. You're not really doing any code. You're not doing anything fancy. There are complexities to it, and you can mess up in a way that you spend another 5 hours trying to fix it. And in that case, just reach out to someone like me who knows what they're doing and can help. But generally, it allows you to do a million different things really easy. One thing I would strongly recommend when it comes to getting your business out there, you build a website, you get the domain name that has some keywords in it that you want people to find, or is something simple to remember that has to do with your brand. Like me, it's consultwithari.com. I also got consult-ari.com. I got a few of these. I got them through Namecheap, which is a very cheap way of getting domain names. It was like $7 a year. Again, super easy to do this stuff. Once you have a website, you want to do a few things. One thing is, if I type in consult with Ari to Google, I want my business to come up. And there are a few ways to have it come up. One is Google Maps, which is sort of tied to Google My Business. So that's like 1 and 2. Google My Business is what you see on the right side of this page. It's like submitting your business to the yellow pages. So it actually has like an index. This is who we are. This is how get in contact with us. This is our website. We have some reviews. Check us out. And if it has a location, then it's on Google Maps. It's all integrated. Then you have your actual listings down here. These are all organic results. And if I were paying for advertising, I'd see an ad up here. And if anybody else thought my brand was really good and wanted to pay for ads to get and capture anybody looking for my brand, I'd be honored. And they'd put an ad up here that would be competing with any of the other results. But my result comes up top when someone types in consult with Ari, because it's a rare thing, but also because I did SEO well. So SEO is about just having the right keywords that will appear well in searches that people are looking for. That's not too competitive. So not too many people are looking for it, combined with too many websites that are vying for it. So you have a good balance. But you also want to do other things. So you want to do this Google My Business so that it comes up easily on the side of your page. You want to get reviews going, even if it's one Google review by me. You're going to see right here, by me. I added my first review. It's not a big deal. It doesn't look bad. If you only have one review by yourself, it looks bad if you have no reviews. Then you want to get more reviews consistently. That will actually help train Google's algorithm that people like you and want you to appear more. And Google looks everywhere at all these different areas around the web to tie in, who is this website? Who is this business? Why is it important? And think of your website as like the main anchor of where all the content should be. And then you repost everywhere. So you can repost, you build a Facebook page, you build an Instagram page, and then you repost. Let's say you build a blog on your website. You can take that blog that you make and you can start adding entries. I have 4 entries right here. And you can talk about it, literally anything, and use keywords in those blog entries so that they appear in searches. And then you optimize them for SEO within Wix so that they'll actually be listed in Google search. And anybody who's looking for answers on a topic that you're typing about, that you're talking about, your website, your page, your blog might appear. Then you can take that blog. You don't have to rewrite it. You don't have to edit it. You don't have to change anything about it. You just take the link to your blog and you post it on social media. You post that new blog on Facebook. The next day you post it on LinkedIn. You want it to be applicable. You don't want it to be totally outside of the bounds of like LinkedIn is really for building a business better. You don't want it to be too personal, while on social media, you want it to be more personal and less business, sure. But you take that blog that you wrote once and then you repost the link to it and you share the link to it in different social strategies in different areas across the web. And if you can share blogs with another website, even better. And then anybody who finds that blog, there's a link that goes back to your website. And anybody who clicks on it, it goes back to your website. Google tracks that, and Google sees, oh, people are going to your website. People are going to your website from social media. And these things like build credit with Google. So Google wants to see that you're popular. These are all things that are super cheap or free to do. And you can do this with pretty much any business. It's best if the business has an actual location. I didn't list an actual location. I just generalized. I don't know if you can see this, but this is like the general New York area. I don't have a location because either I'd be giving my business location for Doctor's Internet, which is just, it'll confuse people. It's not really our business, or I'd be giving my apartment, which I do recommend to some clients if they have a legitimate business and the only option is to give their apartment or their domicile or something. You're not going to get tracked down and hunted. It's your purview, your choice of what to do. But giving an actual location to Google for a business further legitimizes the business and gets you found locally. So if someone is a few blocks away or within a few miles, it's called hyperlocal marketing. Then someone who's looking for something that has to do with your business may appear in a local Google Maps search. So you won't just appear in searches that are general. You'll appear more relevant because you're local, because you're close to that person. So if you're in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't necessarily help you. If you're in a big city, you might have a lot of competition. If you don't have a lot of competition for what you do, and you have a lot of people that might be looking for what you do locally, it's a great fit. So these are just a few
you have
ways.
about 3 minutes left. Do
Perfect.
you want to take questions, or anybody have any particular questions? You could always add them to the chat. Or if you just want to raise your hand or just interrupt, now might be a good time.
Let me give just 15 or 20 seconds on healthcare.
Sure.
Healthcare marketing is very specific to local. You want to do all of this, but you want to do a lot of reviews. You want to do more social things that have to do with local, the location, the place. And then we do a lot of things that are like HIPAA compliant, that help with like sign up sheets and forms online that are HIPAA compliant. We do patient messaging. So there's a bunch of stuff that general marketing groups or platforms can't really do for you, that you want a specifically healthcare focused entity. That's it. Questions, please.
Okay, can I jump in?
Sure, Sarita, go ahead.
Hi, Ari.
Hi, Sarita.
This is very, very helpful. I have a question with regard to, right now I'm using WordPress and Bluehost, etc. And someone recommended that I use Wix. But before I make all of these changes, I have a question about ADA compliance, because what happened this year, I had someone go in and set my website up so that it is ADA compliant. But then it just messed everything up. Every time I go in, make any kind of change, the site shuts down. I go through Bluehost. As you can imagine, as a small business owner, that takes up a lot of time. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just curious with Wix, how does that work with getting your website ADA compliant and making sure that it does not create havoc on the website itself later on?
That's a great question. So I don't want to confuse anybody. There is no way to accessibility proof your website. The idea is there's no, yes, your website is legal. Yeah, no, your website's not. It's how vulnerable am I to a class action lawsuit by some lawyers somewhere who want to make money by suing for not having some kind of accessibility. So the more you can do to make it more accessible, the better. There are certain things that will make it more or less compliant when it's HIPAA or ADA. That's like, you can't promise certain things or advertise in certain ways for healthcare. Sure, for that, I would just work with a healthcare marketer like ourselves. We don't cost too much. But you can also do things on your website through Wix or Squarespace where they'll help with accessibility. Wix has a wizard for accessibility where it'll take you through, are these fonts too small that they are not compliant because someone who can't read well can't read them? It'll take you through boldings and color differentials. It'll actually take you through in a wizard, step by step. It'll analyze your whole website and show you a step-by-step list of what you need to improve. And then you can do things like, we build our own websites on the healthcare side on our own code, our own HTML5 platform. So we do it custom, and then we add this. It's an accessibility widget called UserWay. There are other ones also. It's very popular. And it just adds on the ability to change the website for accessibility. So that also helps you a lot.
We have John Parsons
Thank
had
you.
asked, and we'll take this as the last question. How does Wix compare with WordPress, and how do the e-commerce features in Wix compare with Etsy? So both of those.
It's a good question. I'd compare Wix and WordPress. I wouldn't necessarily compare Wix or WordPress with Etsy in the same way. Etsy, I would compare with Amazon. Etsy and Amazon are their own marketplace. So you're really selling, if I'm correct, you're
Yes,
selling
yeah.
within the marketplace, right? So your ability to just have a website first that sells anywhere is limited. With Wix and WordPress and just a regular website that has the ability to take payments and sell a product, you have a website and it has the ability to sell products and anywhere. Anybody can go on and such. It's like having a website. Let's say if you have an Amazon store, so you need to log into Amazon and you can only find it through Amazon. And then a lot is taken care of for you because it's built like Etsy, Shopify also, they're built specifically for e-commerce. They're really good for e-commerce, but they're not great for other things. They're not great for blogs. They're not great for services. They're not great for generalized website things, while Wix and Squarespace are much better at that. And Wix and Squarespace are pretty similar. Wix, though, tries to do everything. And so it does a lot of things sort of well, some things not so well, but it tries to be very flexible in that. Squarespace I have less familiarity with, but I think it's very similar.
All right. Thank you, Ari. Great presentation. You winged it, but you did a great job. I'm sure you blew people away with your pelicans, or was it flamingos? I can't remember.
Dealer's choice. You can make it whatever you want retroactively.
All right. I just put in the chat, the order in which folks showed up, excluding Ari, because he already went. We have 9, 11, 10 people. We have 35 minutes. We could do 2.5 minutes. I'll let you know when you get to that point. You'll hear my my alarm, and you'll see me waving the well, I don't know if it's going to show up because it's I can show the back of it. Apparently the reflectivity of the glass messes things up with the background. But of course, give us a profile, who you are, what you do, what you specialize in, why people should remember, how people can remember you. That's actually one of the most important things. And it can be funny. It can be, obviously, if it's related to your business, that's even better, because they'll relate that to how they remember you. I find that one of the hardest things about networking, and oftentimes business in general, is staying top of mind, or at least having that hook, something that says, oh yeah, I remember Sarita at Grit does, international trade research, or, that Ron Hubsher does negotiations for sales, whatever it happens to be that connects you to that person, is really helpful. So we'll go in the order in which I dropped the name. So Rajiv, Chad, John Parsons, and then we'll take it from there. I will put on the timer if everybody again would stay on mute, except for the speaker. I will go to gallery mode. I'm sorry, speaker mode. And Rajiv, take it away.
Thank you, Michael. Everyone is struggling right now, since we're all thinking that, oh, maybe we're going to have a recession, maybe we're going to have a depression or something like that. And now more than ever, it's really important to attract your clients and keep your clients, right? Keeping that in mind, it's really important for your existing clients as well as your future prospects to trust you and have confidence in what it is that you do and how you can help them. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation floating around the internet, posted by either confused people and or douchebag competitors who are making your lives miserable. And that's where we come in. We erase, delete, eliminate all that muck that's on the internet that's making the good people of TRN and beyond, your lives miserable. Because bad press, bad reviews create a lot of doubt and discord in the minds of your customers. And by eliminating that, we then allow and sustain for good businesses like you to then continue to do what you do. So that's how I help clients. On the flip side of that, we're also helping clients elevate their profile online through thought leadership, the furthest extent of which is helping them to be a United Nations speaker. My ask is for meeting with internet marketing companies and PR companies who often either white label me and mark up my fee to their clients, thus making a killing, or who refer business to me and also make a killing through the revenue share. So either way, they're getting paid and it's easy money for them. And that's my ask. So that's one part of my ask. I'll drop my details in the chat. The second thing I'd like to talk about is our new SaaS tool that's called Lily Launch Tools. Wouldn't it be great if your team were completely aligned? So let me paint a utopia for you. You're the project manager and your team knows exactly what they have to do and do it when they have to do with perfection. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, that is exactly what Lily Launch Tools does. And I'll drop the link in the chat. We're offering a 30-day trial. Please try it out. I think you'll absolutely love it. Thank you, Mike.
I got a question for you. Did you ever think about contacting people, restaurants or whatever, who have a couple of bad reviews and reaching out to them? Is that something you've done before?
It's something that we've thought of, but most of those restaurants, if they're not like super high end, like Michelin star restaurants, they're not
going to spend the money.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's a good idea, though. I think I should target.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. It could be other, service providers as well. Chad Roberts, you're up.
Yeah, thanks. Everybody loves referrals, right? But are you receiving them in such a high volume that it's almost stressful? I've been there. With Revitize, I had one day that I received 38 email introductions in one day, and I was a little stressed out with how am I going to stay on top of all these to keep all my strategic partners happy. Well, that's what we do at Revitize, is we help businesses consistently receive referrals in high volume. When I say referrals, I'm not just talking about a list of names for you to cold call out to, but getting what's most likely the best referral for your business, which is an email or an SMS introduction from new customers, past customers, existing customers, strategic partners. We provide you the tools and the strategy to consistently receive those type of referrals in volume. And again, I'm Chad Roberts with Revitize. I guess one last thing there too is good introductions for me. Lately, I've been focusing on solar installers or marketing arms for solar companies, as well as B2B SaaS have kind of been the two verticals I've been working with lately.
Wonderful. Cool. And you want to describe the platform a little bit more?
Yeah. So when it comes to referrals for businesses that are sales driven, and when I say sales driven, I mean that is a sales rep signing on new customers, as well as if they have a higher ticket offering. What we found is the best type of introduction to receive it, like I mentioned, is an email introduction or an SMS introduction. Now, when sending those off, there's usually a lot of friction on the referrer, especially if you ask them for high volume. So I said, hey, Michael, can you send over 10 email introductions? He might say, well, Chad, I would love to, but that would take 30 minutes to a few hours of my time to put those together, send them off. And likely he would say, well, that's not worth my time. So what we've done is we've democratized mobile apps that make that process really easy, where someone can download our partner app. They can select who they want to make those introductions to. It pulls up a pre-written introduction and they can send it off. So they can send off 10, 20, 30 of these email introductions in a matter of minutes versus it taking them, hours of their time. Plus, the next cool thing there is with most partner programs, the referrer is in the dark, right? So after they've made those introductions, they have no idea, well, did Chad actually reach out to them? Were they within the sales process? Am I owed some type of referral fee? Or if they're in the dark, that's not too motivating for them to keep sending business their way. Whereas that mobile app gives them total transparency. So once they send off 10 introductions, there's a progress bar under each referral's name where they can see what I've done with that, right? So, okay, Chad scheduled a consultation with them. He he ran a demo, they signed an agreement, I mowed X amount. So that way, your referral partners get a dopamine rush as they see their referrals progressing through your sales process. So that's a big part of what we do. We provide you with that mobile app, a software so you can track everything. And then we go a lot into strategy because honestly, the tool is just what allows that strategy to come to life, right? And like I said, we've had some pretty cool strategies to help you consistently receive these referrals from your clients.
Thank you. Mark Herre is a user of the Revitize product. So if anybody wants to talk to Mark, I'm sure he'd be happy to tell you about his experience. John Parsons, take it away.
Thanks, Michael. Before I do anything, I want to thank Ari for that presentation because I opened up his site on my phone and just like magic, it does what I want a mobile app to do and not try to cram. I use Word. My question was about WordPress because I struggle with that all the time, and their definition of responsive design. And so I'm working with a client who sells her artwork, who really wants to have a good mobile site, and I think I found it. So thanks. Anyhow, I'm John Parsons. I wear two hats. I'm a nonfiction book ghostwriter by day. Actually, that should be by night if I'm a ghostwriter, right? My other job, it sprang from a book that I wrote in 2018 that had a whole ton of video attached to it. So my family and I decided after that book project that we would start a video business. And so we do video and animation and interactive content for small to medium businesses. And we prefer to work we work directly with clients, but we also like to work with marketing firms who need an extra hand with supplying cost-effective video. And I'm looking to do a showcase, not just before Thanksgiving, Michael, but at some point in the near future, because we have some interactive video things that we worked out that are actually, to us, seem quite promising because interactive video usually requires a platform that people can't afford. And we're working on doing interactivity, user choices within the experience, different kinds of bikes, different kinds of services, so they branch without the necessity of having a platform that they subscribe to. And that's what we're working on and what we're building demos to proof of concept for clients. And I'll put my LinkedIn in the chat. And I really love being here. Am I the newest member now, Michael?
No, I don't think you're the newest member, but you're well, no, actually you are the newest official member, right? Because
because I've been coming for a while. And I just posted my listing. Right. And I've crossed the finish line. I'm now official TRNer.
That's right. You are as of about an hour ago because I approved your listing.
Okay.
All right. Thank
Thanks.
you. And if anybody is off to Seattle and wants to visit Bainbridge Island, John, that's where John lives. I don't know if I just invited people to your house, but
no, it's
sure.
fine. I mean, my office is right near the ferry, so we can go do the 5 things that people do on Bainbridge Island.
John's not so happy about the tourist traffic that
it's tourist season, but you're not allowed to shoot them, so that's
okay.
You know. It's more just trying to get somewhere while they're wandering the sidewalks looking at the sites. And
right.
Aimlessly
and not looking.
If I was in New York, I could really brush past and have attitude, but here everybody's polite, so I can't do that.
Cool. Thank you so much. And thank you, of course, for getting your listing up and joining us. Geoff Strauss, you're up.
All right, Michael, I'm going to try to apply your advice and make this memorable for people. So this will be a new pitch just off the top of my head. All I do is create great case studies for businesses. The name of the business that I run is called Just Case Studies. That's all we do, video and written case studies for businesses. I'm publishing a book coming out December 1st, and the title of the book is The Book on Case Studies. Case studies. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, and that's how when I tell people about Geoff, I say he decided to write a book called The Book on Case Studies. So you can introduce him as the guy who wrote the book on case studies, and not be exaggerating. And I think that's exactly why he calls it that. You have about a minute left. Do you want to add to that?
No.
All right.
So Geoff, I have a question. So as far
Sure.
as studies go, like, do you have some sort of intake form that people need to fill out so that you can create the case study for them, or like how does that work?
Typically, the way our process works is that we'll schedule a Zoom meeting, and we'll talk with our clients to figure out what kind of story they want to tell. Maybe they have different target markets, maybe they have different products or services they want to highlight. So yeah, it's kind of an interactive process. There isn't a form per se. It's more of a meeting and a discussion.
And what is the price range? Where does it start for a case study?
Our base rate for a new client is $19.85 for a written and a video case study. And that is for no matter how many you get for your first purchase. So if you have 7 different target markets, and you want to do them all at once, you can get them all at that price point. Subsequent purchases, it's $19.85 each for the written and the video.
Oh, so the first couple are $2,000 for written, including written and video, both or each?
First purchase is $2,000 for written and video. So let's say you had 3 products that you want to do a case study for each product. Your first purchase would be $2,000 for each one of them, and you get both the written and the video.
Good deal. So everybody can tell their customers about that. John Parsons had a quick question.
I had a quick question for you, Geoff. I used to write case studies for a living also in my tech field. And the oh shoot, I forgot my question.
Come back to or drop it in the.
How do you get permit? I mean, getting permission is always the biggest hurdle, right? Getting somebody to sign on publicly to do a case study. I know what I was going to say. How long is the case study typically? What's the average word count? Because attention spans are dropping, and I used to write 5,000 word case studies that nobody read.
Ours tend to be in the 1,500 to 2,000 word range.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just however long it takes to tell a good story, right? Everybody's talking about TikTok and Twitter, but then you've got things like the Lord of the Rings movies, which run 3 to 4 hours long. So if you've got a good story, you tell it in however long it takes to tell that good story.
Sure. Cool.
All right. So let's go on to Sarita.
Okay. Well, imagine that you have been told that you can expand your business to the overseas market. And a lot of times I hear this with the number of opportunities to sell, because whether it's a good or service, because 95 to 96% of consumers exist outside of the United States. But the problem with that is that when a small firm hears about these opportunities, the question still remains, how do I take advantage of these opportunities? These trade deals or trade programs. Many of us are familiar with the US-Mexico-Canada agreement. Well, that's where I come in, Sarita Jackson, with the Global Research Institute of International Trade, where I help companies, first of all, to understand what these trade deals mean for them. And what it means is having a competitive advantage, being able to sell more competitively in select overseas markets, but then also if you're buying from overseas, where you can save by taking advantage of those programs. So I provide details to small, mid-sized companies, do the research for them so that they can understand how to take advantage of these particular trade deals and how they can actually sell their good or service, develop a strategy so that they can do so competitively in overseas market. But one thing that I would like to also highlight, one of the things that I've just done within the last few months is partner with a company that consults when it comes to foreign exchange, because the US dollar has been a lot stronger this year, and a strong US dollar means that you're less competitive when you're selling overseas because your good or service is more expensive. So I've partnered with a foreign exchange firm that can help lock in foreign exchange rates and also help you with addressing the foreign exchange risks for US companies as well as overseas companies. So my ask would be, if you know of any company, it doesn't matter the industry, that is a global company selling internationally and needs assistance with foreign exchange, please reach out to me. I will put my information in the chat, and that is an additional service that I'm able to provide to help companies, since the whole goal is to also be competitive in the international market. Again, Sarita Jackson, Global Research Institute of International Trade. So to export, you need persistence, determination, and grit. Thank you.
Whoa. Did you time that? That was like right on the 2.5 minute mark. And how many
Perfect.
others? Who else here has a PhD besides Sarita? I don't think we have too many PhDs here. Raise your hand.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's quite an
Yeah, that's
accomplishment.
it. Yeah, definitely quite an accomplishment. Okay, Ron, you have to follow the PhD. Sorry.
Oh, man, now I'm in trouble. Should have gave me fair warning. I'm Ron Hubsher, and I got a question for you guys. Have you ever sat around like on a Friday, you're really looking forward to the weekend, you're feeling good, think you got this big deal closed, you're just looking forward to having a great weekend, and you get a call from your client, and all of a sudden they want a large discount, and you're like, now all of a sudden, instead of looking forward to the weekend, you're really frustrated, you're really aggravated, you don't know what to do. Do you concede to the discount and feel like you're getting taken advantage of? Do you push back hard and risk losing the deal when you really want the deal? Or do you take some middle ground and maybe end up in a worse spot? We make sure that will never happen to you again. I'm Ron Hubsher. We specialize in business-to-business sales negotiation. So think about me as a negotiation guy. And an ideal customer for us is typically a business-to-business company. A lot of SaaS companies use us, like Google, DocuSign, Oracle, Salesforce. Just as a couple, we go from higher to smaller. But really, any business-to-business sales organization is sort of an ideal client for us.
Very cool. Do you ever work with like business to business, sales agents, sales consulting agencies as partners?
Sometimes it's a little difficult, but
There's some conflict there. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Thank you
that
very
question, by the way, if you don't mind me asking, Mike.
I just did a consulting gig with an organization like that. I don't think they do negotiation training or anything along those lines. So they might be a good. Yeah, might be a good. Yep, absolutely. Okay, Mark Herre, take it away.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Herre. I also used to live in Washington. I used to go to Whidbey Island, not Bainbridge, all the time and give the tourist tour. So, John, you might think of that as something for 25 years, I did that. All right. But now I'm living in Salt Lake City, and I just nominated myself recently for the 20% Club on LinkedIn. Anyone want to join me? What the 20% Club is I realize that there's 15 to 20% of your LinkedIn audience that will actually refer you business. And I love referring business. So I just joined my own club. It's called the 20%er Club. And if you want to join with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can find, ways to refer each other's businesses. And that would be a great opportunity to meet with you on one-to-one. I'm very open to that. What I would like to discuss with you, if we were to do a connection, I would like to tell you what I do. I'm a founder of an SEO company called SEO Game, Search Engine Optimization. I help with rank delivery, where I deliver rankings on the first page of Google for my partners. My partners happen to be digital marketing agencies and SEO companies. And I want to describe what I do for these digital marketers and SEO companies, because I'm only $300 a month. So the price is very affordable, so that digital marketers can grow and expand. The best digital marketers I work with are niche digital marketing companies that might include dental marketing agencies, legal, auto tinting. For some reason, I'm getting a lot of auto tinting clients. I have about 20 of them right now, auto tinting. I never believed it. There's a digital marketer that just specializes in auto tinting. The niches are in the riches. So if you want to be a niche digital marketer and get out of the legacy mode, I'd love to help you as well. In addition to being a partner for niche digital marketers, I also work with VA firms, virtual assistant firms, as well as lead generation companies. I help them set up a white label agency within their organization. And then I do the white label SEO for white label SEO companies. So join me on LinkedIn, be part of the 20% Club, and thanks so much for your time.
Timing. Thank you, Mark. Mark is a regular attendee. It's always great to have you. Joan Abraham. Joan, do you prefer to be Joan or Joni? I know I've seen it written both ways.
Joni.
Joni, all right.
Joni is more me than Joan.
All right, take it away.
And the name of my company is Style Branding Inc., which is exactly what we do. We brand products, lifestyle products against style and taste and entertainment. I come out of the fashion industry, as I think I mentioned the last time we talked, and realize the entertainment value and the branding value of fashion. And in selling programming that was interactive and entertaining to networks and advertising agencies over the last 30 years, I've gotten very involved not only in the fashion industry, but the advertising industry and the entertainment industry. So our product, our main product that we're selling now, reflects all of those industries, what their problems are and how to solve them. Our main product, which I'll talk about next week, is called VidBits. And they're 15 to 30, 45-second stories that are delivered every day. So they're fresh daily. They're designed for social media channels and email delivery. And the accent is on entertainment more than sell. And that's our differentiation. And we use that to cause engagement. And it's all about storytelling. And the product is the visual focus of the story. And the story is told in was told in voiceover. Now we're doing it where they're bubble tasks, but we're doing episodic stories that go on about very cool people and the merchandise that they have in their lifestyle. But it's all about storytelling. It's not, we never mention the product. We just show the product and we have a link directly to the product on the website to end it. The way you'll remember me is I am sure that I am the oldest member in this group. And I'm still very passionate about what I sell because I've been very early on a lot of things. And I think now is the time for original content that dwells on entertainment and puts a smile on people's face when they get it in their email box every day. And it's affordable to be daily content. That's another distinguishing characteristic. We sell 10 stories for $12,000 and it's all original video content programming.
Okay, that's great. 10 stories. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
And based outside of Motown.
Right. I'm in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. I was in New York for 20 years, so part of me is a New Yorker, and but I am definitely in Michigan in Bloomfield Hills.
Right. And Joni brought video marketing to the fashion world.
Yes, thank you.
Do we want to put a date in there or not?
Oh, yeah, you can do it. In
I don't even know when it was.
1987, I moved to New York to put the fashion industry on video, and you know what's going on now. And at that time, there was no original fashion programming at all on video.
So did you read the article about how amateur women in sports in college are getting like $1 million a year in influencer marketing?
Right.
Very
and
cool.
Influencer marketing, if I can just make one more comment, is now being forced, they're being forced to really emphasize the sell in anything they promote. And this is the only thing that I've seen in the market that's original and it's entertainment driven. You'll see next week what I'm talking
Wonderful.
about.
We're looking forward to it. Lynn Donaldson, take it away.
Good morning. My name is Lynn Donaldson from Connect Take Strategic Solutions Group. Who here is not on a drug or uses a medical device? Anybody? Doesn't have to take a drug in the morning or drug at night?
Chad Roberts and Ron Hubsher.
People. That's down
illegal
to
drug. Are you including illegal drugs or?
Legal drugs, legal pharmaceuticals and medical devices. The reason I asked who's not is because most people have a headache, they reach for that pill, they reach for the bottle, they reach for whatever needs to take away their pain or whatever needs to be done at the time. So if you're a diabetic, you have to take something every day. What I do is I help those products get to market. So I help pharmaceutical and medical devices people get those products from their conception when they're working through, they've got proof of concept, they've gone into trials, and then while they're working on the clinical side, the team are starting to work on education. What does this product do? How does it work? How can it help a patient? How can it help the doctor manage their patients? And that's where we come in. We work with them from phase 2 onwards when they're already starting to work towards FDA approval. No product can be sold or promoted until it has FDA approval. But in that time, medical directors specifically, because they're talking peer-to-peer, it's not PhDs, but it could be PhDs and MDs talking to one another about the actual product and what it does and how it works. And they're allowed to do that. They're not promoting, they're just explaining and educating. And that's where we come in. We develop the strategy with those people, the medical affairs directors, to work on what they need to say, who they need to say it to, what are their goals, and then how are they going to implement that strategy. We have three framework pillars. One is people, one is product, and one is process. The people side comes in when a product launch is very, very stressful. And so what I do is I do the executive coaching with those teams, or with my teams, to help them stay at a peak performance level while they're going through this stressful product launch. My team work on the product side, helping them to develop the right strategy, building on what they've done before. They've all launched products in their own right. Okay, and the process is the Lily launch tools that Rajiv mentioned earlier. We make it easier for them to develop that strategy and then implement that strategy, because the strategy is all in one place in Lily launch tools.
I have somebody who invests in early stage companies that are launching new products that may not have a lot of experience with that. I just can't remember his name offhand, but if you remind me, I can try to dig it up. It doesn't come to mind right now. He's very successful. Let's see, did I miss anybody? And by the way, sorry, I put your name as Donald in the Lynn Donald in the I added Donald, I added the son. Anybody I missed? Otherwise, I will go myself. So as you know, my name is Michael Bendit. I actually just recently, I'm into like finding cool solutions to things. This is a plexiglass based, it's just it takes your camera and puts it in the middle of the screen. So I'm going to do that right now to see if I can speak to people a little more directly by looking at you with the thing right in the screen. So that's probably a little high. So I represent software development teams. I do sales for software development teams. I have about a dozen teams that I work with. And my job is really to match the client's need with the right team. I just got an interesting inquiry from one of my clients who, in fact, is working with one of my teams, but that team is struggling a little bit with something that they haven't done before. And the ultimate client is so the first tier client's an agency, but their client is a Berkshire Hathaway real estate agent that has about 6 or 7 branches in Texas, and they're pulling information from multiple listing services, different multiple listing services in different regions. And it's basically a nightmare because they've got different APIs and they've got different, they're using WordPress, but it's overwhelming the system. And as you can imagine, if you're covering the major metropolitan areas in Texas, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of homes available on the market. So they asked me if I had a team that had any MLS integration experience, and I do have another team that does that. And we're going to be getting on a call after this with the 2 teams so they can figure out how they can collaborate, bring in the multiple listing service integration experience from one team to help support the other team that's already working with this client. So that's where I come in and where I bring the expertise of multiple teams. Usually it's one team at a time, but if it's necessary, I'm happy to have 2 teams collaborate because they've got special experience. And the nice thing about my teams is that they're all good people. So they'll do the right thing for the client. They recognize they may be working with competitors, but they view it as more of a collaboration. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm a firm believer in that for this group as well. So I think I was looking at the camera most of the time, but tell me if I messed up. Yeah, I know I looked up occasionally because that's where I'm up there somewhere. So I'm going to go back to gallery mode. We don't have any more time. So we're going to sort of wrap it up unless anybody got last minute. Anybody have any last minute questions, comments? Now's the time to speak up.
I have one.
John Parsons.
Yeah, I know about that device that you're using, but one of my clients does big events, and we had this debate about do you look in the camera when you're lecturing? And he asked me a question: if you were in a live event, like in-person event, and the speaker looked at you in the audience while he was talking, how would that make you? You'd be creeped out if he just turned to you. So he said there's a case to be made for one-on-one talking direct to the camera. But in big virtual events that he specializes in, my client, he said that's absolutely off limits because you'd never do that live. You'd never focus on one person in the audience. You'd scan across, in this case, a 20-pack of Zoom profiles, and so he said you have to think about who the audience is, and if it's a big crowd on Zoom or Teams, you want to scan for reactions, not focus on focusing on the camera is that one person.
Thank you.
So
that's helpful. Yeah, and you're over to my right now, so I know I'm looking this way. I mean, I could move the camera right in front of you, but then I can't see you. So it's it's a little bit.
The other thing that helps when you're in a meeting and you're being self-conscious is turn off self-view in Zoom, and that way you don't have to see how you're looking all the time and distract yourself with yourself.
Right, that's a good one. Ari had a comment question. Go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, just well, first off, totally agree with both of you. Always act like a human when talking to anybody, virtually or in person. That's my key. Just act like a human. Second, if anybody has experience or understanding in targeting events, conferences, like we're looking to target people that are attending specific events in specific areas, specific times. It's like geofencing, retargeting. I'd love to learn more about it. If anybody has a background in it and a better understanding of it and can connect with me, I'd love a one-on-one.
So you're looking for people who target people at events?
Yeah, it's geofence retargeting. It's if someone attends an event at a specific conference center at a specific time, I think you can actually target all of them with ads during or afterwards.
Geoff Schwartz has a
I'm already talking with him. Yeah, he's actually
You know what? I tried to reach Geoff Schwartz and I had trouble. If anybody knows his email and could post it, I would really appreciate it.
Joan, I'll send it over to you.
And
you could also just go to his listing on the on Trust Referral Network. It's under Ethic, ETHIC. Just put Ethic into the search and it will show up, his listing.
Okay, good. And I have somebody for you, Ari, who is selling in that arena, geo-target fencing.
Thank you.
Ron is thinking of somebody, but he can't remember exactly who it is.
It's actually it's a company that does in-store advertising, which is they call it geo. I don't know if it's
geofencing,
appropriate at all. They call it geofencing, and it just finally clicked into my brain.
Okay. If you think about it, you can contact Ari. All right, great. I'm going to put, by the way, now's a good time to download the chat. I am going to drop Geoff Schwartz's Ethic Advertising listing in the chat. I just did, so you'll find it. But if you go to the chat and then click on the 3 buttons on the right, first menu item is Save Chat. That'll download it to your computer. So thank you, everybody. Always great to see you. Please do connect with 1 or 2 people on the call. If you forget their name or don't know how to reach them, let me know.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great day.